Welcome to Detours, Understanding Acquired Brain Injury.
And today, as you can see, this is not Debbie, who is our normal swim person. I'd like to thank Julie for her help with us, because unfortunately, yeah, because unfortunately, normally it would be Debbie who'd be doing these kind of things. But so filling in is Julie being generous and helping us this way. Again, thank you. So we're going to do this now. I understand, Julie, that you do yoga. Um,
Do.
yeah.
Yes, I like yoga very much.
Are there techniques that you find are similar to swimming techniques? Like when you swim, because I know you had talked about being a sinker, as you put it, but
Yeah.
um, so are there things that you find when you swim? I do know you go into the water. Are there things that you find help, like that are similar to swimming and yoga that you could show us, or you know?
Well, I have because of the work I used to do before my acquired brain injury, I worked at a desk a lot, so I have a lot of neck issues. And I do a lot of moves that are they might I would guess they're peculiar looking because I don't look at myself when I'm doing them, but I would guess I look kind of unusual. But they have helped with yoga. That I can move my head and my neck more fluidly than I used to. And I
Show
think
us any?
swimming was I was rather young when I swam competitively, and so I might have been more sort of like a jellyfish type of thing because I'm pretty movable.
Hmm. Can you show like anything that, it's like with the phone down for a moment, can you show like anything that you would want people to see, like as far as like stretches or yoga kind of things that they could do if they were sitting on, say, in a wheelchair or were seated? Things that would be effective, like they can do with their arms, their neck, their head, their shoulders, anything like that. Because
Mhm.
that's one of the things that Debbie does. If you could show some of the things that you would recommend that people do as
Okay.
exercise.
Okay, yeah, I'd be happy to.
Okay.
I'll put the phone down and show you a couple moves with my arms, raising them above my head,
Okay.
and
That
then
that
I just move my. I'll
yeah.
show you.
Okay. Thank you.
This is I kind of have a hunch way about me because of my work and my vocation that I used to have, but so I try to push my arms back a little more and kind of push out my chest muscles. And then when I move my arms like this, it feels pretty good. And back and like I stretch them this way. And I have a tremor due to my cardiac arrest stuff, but it helps me. So that's what I try to do. I'm more flexible on one side than the other, which I don't know if that's common or not, but that's what's true for me. So, and then I move my head this left and right, try to reach my shoulder. And with yoga, we move our heads around like around the globe. So, yeah, so that's those are things that I've learned through yoga. And I mean, I did swim before prior, but I don't swim very often anymore. And I'm not swimming now, as you can tell. I give a little pressure. And this side is much tighter than my right side. The left is much tighter than my right side, but I try to stand straight up, and it's not that easy. So with my brain injury, I have a tremor. It might be noticeable, but and I maybe didn't shave my armpits very well, but it's just one of those things that you live with. So I'll bend at the hip now, and I'll show you what I do. And I've been trying to use my left hand more than my right hand. I'm very right-handed.
Mhm.
So I'm trying to use my left hand a little more than my right hand. I didn't demonstrate very well, but I wanted to.
Do you hold when you bend, at the waist, do you hold it for a longer period of time?
I hold it for at least 10 seconds. I mean, I don't think that's enough, but that's what I do. And I try to move my body over my, like from the right and the left when I'm bent down. I can show you that if you'd like me to.
Yes.
I'm back. Could you see that?
Yep. And do
Yeah,
you
and
find that, how many do you do? How many reps do you do? How many repetitions do you do of that?
be honest, I don't have a set number. I just
Mhm.
do it because I feel tight. And
Oh,
then I
okay.
try to do it when I'm not as regimented as some are with their exercise anymore. And it's one of my it's one of my good New Year's goals to be more regimented about my exercise. But I have tightness in my legs, the hammies, and my back is a little bit tight sometimes. So I used to crack my back a lot, and I don't know if that's why. And I say to my son, "Don't do it, love. Don't do it. Don't crack your
Right.
back." I don't know if it's good or bad or what, but I don't feel like it served me that well. So I'm stretching more than anything lately.
Right. No, I understand that. Because it's like you don't want to push yourself too hard because, it's like I guess you'd want to limit based on how much, your body can handle, right?
I think so. And I'm not going to go into this much, but I ran a marathon that I
Right.
honestly I wasn't sure I would survive my marathon because of my
Right.
heart condition. And I said to my family, "I love you, thank you," all those things that you say before you run a marathon. But I did it,
Yeah.
and I was lucky. Nothing happened to me. It was hard. It was hard work. Like running a marathon is not something I'll ever be able to do
No.
again. But we all have hard things in our lives, so that was one of my hard things.
Well, I mean, I know you exercise different types as long as you get some exercise in, right?
Yeah. I like to get outside a lot, so I try to do that as much as I can.
Now, are there things you do for like your hand or your
My
shoulder, your
hands,
elbow?
that's a good idea. That's a good thought, Mark. I don't really do anything specific. I do turn my hands like this
Hmm.
and then the opposite direction. And I think that makes it, I think it helped, but I don't know. I'm not really sure. So I just do what I can, and sometimes it pops and cracks and such,
Right.
but um, I don't do that much for my hands.
Like maybe a stress ball or something, you think?
I do use a tennis ball. I don't know that I know what a stress ball is.
But that's one of those really super squishy balls to squeeze, like if you're feeling stressed or if you're feeling like, or just exercise. It's like
Oh,
they're one of those really squishy.
okay. Almost like a racquetball texture.
Kind of like that, yeah.
Yeah. I don't do that, but I'll make that one of my New Year's, maybe one of my New Year's goals.
You could strengthen your hand with those,
Yeah.
especially if you find you don't have a lot of hand strength.
Yeah,
Um,
I am. My hand strength is mediocre, I would say. So I don't think it's atrocious, but I don't think it's
what
fantastic
you want it to
either.
be.
Yeah.
I, it's like for me, it's like I'd like to strengthen my hands. They're not as strong as I'd like them to be. Um, it's like using a cane, has kind of messed with my wrist and stuff like that. But also, I
Okay.
find with my neck injuries and stuff like that, that's also a, you know,
a hindrance, sort of.
Exactly. Exactly. And you seem to have some good, exercises and things. So,
Yeah, I'm lucky. With my cardiac arrest, I didn't lose very much except for my memory, and I know that's a lot, and I complain about it enough to say that's enough, Julie. Stop
mhm,
complaining about it and do something about it. So
yeah.
that's why I was happy that Mark asked me to help him with these videos and try to help others who might need help that I can give.
Well, it's like, as I said to you before, I mean, you retain a lot of your intelligence, and, it's like you have some executive deficits like I do, some of the planning, organizing, and, stuff like that. But that's very typical with cardiac arrest. You have a good recovery, what's classified as a good recovery. Uh, Most people don't do as well as you do. 90% die, and 9% of that 10% that make it usually don't do as well as you do. You've done remarkably well for a person with that long in cardiac arrest. It's pretty amazing.
I'm very fortunate.
Yeah.
And I do,
That you've
I
done
mean,
as well,
I
Jim.
also believe in the love of my family and friends
Mhm.
has helped me significantly. So, who knows why I survived, but I'd like to be helpful with others now that
That's
I have.
part of it. That is a big part of it. It's like family support and, persistence from, your own persistence and drive and their support and, stuff like this, you being willing to help out.
Yeah,
That matters too.
yeah, well, thanks. Yeah, as Mark knows, I don't love standing around in my bathing suit
Mhm.
in my computer room, but I'm willing to help if I can. So that's
Well,
why
I mean,
I'm
I
glad I am.
well, you're helping out with, like I said, now one of the reasons you're doing this right now today is for you're standing in for Debbie, who does our swimming stuff, and she does she does a lot of our stretches and our other things, and you showing some yoga stuff is helpful,
Yeah.
and so
One stretch I just thought of that I can show you if I put down my phone
yes,
is over my head,
okay,
and I'll just do it now. I just stretch like this and grab my elbow if I can
hmm
and hold it. And then also I note it in my neck. I feel something in my neck too, which I'm not sure if you're supposed to, but I do. So I just do it on both sides. This side is harder than the other, as you can tell, but I think it's good. I mean,
does
it's not hurting. I mean, it's not entirely comfortable, but it's not hurting me. I don't think.
does it make you feel better to stretch that when your neck is like that?
And that's what I do over my head.
Well, if it feels better to do that, then maybe you're supposed to feel a stretch in there.
Yeah, that's what I keep saying to myself. Well, maybe I am supposed to be doing it because it feels pretty good.
I mean, because
So
stretching over like that, it's like I do feel like if I do that, I do feel that kind of stretch in the neck, and I think that's what you're supposed to do, right?
I think so. I don't know. I'm no expert in this stuff, but that's what I do with yoga,
Hmm.
and it works for me. So
And kind
it's
of like
but
doing neck rolls and stuff too, the same kind of
yeah,
thing.
neck rolls like down your
Yeah,
chest
exactly.
and around back. And my neck pops and cracks a fair bit, but I don't know if that's uncommon or if it is bad or good or whatever. But I had a massage not long ago, and she said,
Yeah.
"No, you're much looser than you were last time," so that was good for me.
Yeah, I was about to say that tells you what you're doing is working, and like do the chin to chest touches, down, like
Yeah,
those
that
kind of
feels
things help.
good. I don't do that very often, but that does feel good. Thank you.
That's a kind of like when I'm doing like if you do warm ups and stuff for the pool or anything like that, that's one of the things that you know you don't want to overdo anything, but you certainly want to try to.
Yeah, thank you. I will practice. I will add that to my repertoire.
Yeah, and then like tilting head side to side, especially if you have like stiffness in your neck, that
Yeah,
do that a couple times. as well as the rolls, which I really do like because they help my cervical
I do
spine. I have,
some mine, I don't know, do you?
yes,
Yeah,
yeah, absolutely.
yeah,
And then heat on your neck, you know, helps.
heat helps.
Yeah, heat helps.
Oh,
If you have
okay,
if you have a lot of soreness in your neck, like
yeah,
throw a towel in the dryer for like 5 or 10 minutes, and then like, or
okay.
warm water, washcloth with warm water, just like standing in the shower helps.
I do that. I do stand in the shower
Mhm.
with the warm water run on me and that feels good. So, but I haven't used a warm towel in a while. If I have ever done that, I don't know.
Yeah.
I may have when I swam more, but I don't know that I haven't. I definitely haven't in a while. So,
Now, when you do swimming, do you have a certain kind of lap that you like doing? Do you like doing side
well, I do
strokes?
freestyle most
Ah,
easily, and then
that's
I do breaststroke when I'm tired.
yeah. I like side strokes since I have that amputation. It makes,
Yeah,
it's like, and also underwater too. It's like,
yeah, underwater is neat. I traveled a fair bit, and in college I went to Australia, so I was one of the lucky ones that saw the Great Barrier Reef,
oh wow.
So I've been very fortunate.
Now,
And
did you scuba dive that, or did you do
I don't think I wore a tank or anything. I
okay,
think
so you did
a snorkel.
snorkeling. Yeah, that takes pretty good breath holding capacity
It
to
was
do
it
that.
was it was beautiful. It was like a
Wow,
beautiful land under the water. I was lucky to be able to do it.
that's neat.
Yeah, yeah. I'm very fortunate.
Yeah, you got to see some stuff. That's
I have seen a lot. I've seen a lot.
I wonder, will it still be around in the future? It's like because of all the pollution and stuff in there.
Well, I think they're saying it's not as vibrant as it once was,
Yeah,
and I think that's a shame. However, with your spin to the being Mr. Positive and my aide
hopefully,
Sylvia is Miss Positive, maybe something as
maybe they
beautiful
can
or
figure something out.
equally beautiful will arrive, so
Well, hopefully they will be able to use. They're trying. They're trying. I worry, but they're trying. So,
yeah,
it's like, but I agree with you. It's like, and we've discussed about a positive attitude towards the future could help, and it's like, and a positive attitude towards, like trying to make a difference and stuff, you know.
yeah. I think it matters. I do. My son, I I don't do it around him too much because he's older now and he's not as sensitive about what things go on around him. But I used to pick up garbage like a can or a
Right.
candy wrapper and throw it in the garbage can
Good
on
for
my
you.
way
I
past.
wish,
And somebody said to me, "Don't do that. That's disgusting." And I said,
hmm,
"You know what? It's disgusting not to."
yeah, no, I agree. I get upset when driving or whatever, and I see somebody throw a cigarette butt out or whatever, and I'm like, seriously? And it's like, I will, if I see like something and there's nobody who's going to be upset. It's like I will toss something out if I've seen something land on the ground, like, and like those soda things, which really upset me, the plastic rings. I will cut those if
Yeah,
I
well,
find those because
it's a big piece
first,
of garbage.
and it should be cut because it's like sea turtles get choked in those and other things. So it's like if you can, like, yeah, and
Yeah,
people need to stop just chucking their stuff around. It's horrible.
yeah, I agree. I think we have to be more mindful of everything we do.
I agree with you 100%. It's like I honestly don't know, you know, but
Oh,
we need to take care of the planet like we take care of ourselves, kind of like the
yeah,
exercising we're doing here.
I agree. Yeah, one thing I'll mention back to the swimming exercises is that
Mhm.
I never swam um butterfly. I mean,
Okay,
I've
yeah,
done it once and I can only make it one way
right,
down, one length of the pool.
right.
But something that is good for me to try is turn my head all insert like all the way around like this.
Uh-huh. Oh, okay.
And I never used to be able to do that. And I can do it pretty well now. It's not as easy in one direction as the other, but I feel it loosening up a little more day
Right.
by day.
Well,
So I don't know if other people feel that tension, and it doesn't, I don't need to know. I just was saying, I think it might be common for people who like worked a lot or do computer type jobs or typing or something like that, you know?
that's a very good point, and I think especially those of us with whether it's traumatic brain injury or like what you had, whatever, is a lot of us end up doing jobs that are like kind of repetitive stress kind of jobs, those that repeat the same actions. And it's like, so we need to make sure we get exercise in, maintain our, physical therapy,
Yeah,
and do, stuff that is helpful to keep us in, that kind of like mode for, you know,
yeah.
moving.
Well said, Mark. Thank you.
And it's like obviously you're taking care of yourself. And yoga is a good way to take care of your body. And it's like,
Thank you. Thank you.
and
I'm trying. I'm doing less exercise than I once did. I was addicted to running, and very lucky that my cardiac arrest happened when I was playing soccer. So
well, I mean, it's like as long as you do stuff to, and one of the another, we were talking about the swimsuit thing earlier, but it's like it does allow you to move your arms more freely, your neck, your
yeah,
shoulders, and
yeah, you're
since
right.
part of the reason I encourage people to swim is because it requires you to move your entire body.
Yeah,
If you're going to do that, legs, knees, your hips, your shoulders, your elbows, your hands, your neck, and even you like this, you can show that you can move your neck more freely. You're not like kind of choked up in a sweat or anything. You have complete freedom of moving your neck, your elbows, and everything else. There's nothing
yeah.
blocking you from moving.
Well said. Yeah, thank
And
you.
so you are able to move more freely.
Yeah, it's good. It's good to be able to move. And I had a friend who is now in heaven, but she had a party. She didn't have a cardiac arrest. She got hit by an automobile riding a
Hmm.
bicycle, and she couldn't move. And I said, "Do you need anything?" To her family, and
Right.
it was hard. It was hard living that way. So
Yeah. No,
I consider myself lucky. I mean, I'm not what I was, but who is, I guess.
no, that's true. And as you get older, since you and I are pretty much close, you and I are almost the same age, not quite, but close, within
Yeah,
a couple of years. And I mean, I'm now 3 years from your age, so we're
yeah,
pretty much the same thing. So we both know what it feels like for bad knees, and that's another thing is like you could just walking around or like lifting your legs as long as your balance is good. That's the key. You don't want to fall on your butt. Um, but like raising your knees and you know,
yeah,
especially if you're a person who sits a lot or lays around a lot or whatever, and that's a problem with brain injury too, is that we end up like
yeah.
kind of stuck, you know.
Yeah, well, thank you for saying the balance, because my balance is very poor,
Mhm.
and I try to work on it doing yoga, as mentioned. I
That's
mean,
good for balance too.
it's
As
helped.
well.
It's helped. I mean, I'm not what I was, but who is, I guess.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's kind of like, well, we've talked about your problems with, some of the cognitive, but you do obviously, I have tremors too.
You do too.
Um, yes, since my injuries, it's like I had a very slight tremor when I was younger, but it wasn't that bad. And after my second brain injury, I really started having trouble with, like, because I worked in the emergency department and I had trouble with handling a needle and starting IVs. And then when I worked in the trauma center, I would handle a scalpel because I would cut as well, assist the trauma surgeons, things like that. I can't do any of that. I can't handle a retractor, a scalpel. I can't do surgery. And so that was difficult because it's a big part of my identity was as an emergency and trauma first assist and trauma nurse. And I can't do that
Well,
anymore.
I am sorry that's been taken from you.
Well, that's like with your job,
That's just,
you
I
lost
lost
a
my
big part of
executive
you.
functioning. Yeah.
Exactly. And so when you lost I totally understand how you feel. Like that was a big part of who you were.
It
Um,
was. Yeah.
And really, it's the loss of executive function, and that happens to most people with traumatic brain injury as well as cardiac arrest. We lose our executive functioning, which is our ability to organize, plan, think strategically, see the big picture, those kind of the abstract thinking. So thinking symbolically or seeing the connections between ideas. Almost all of us lose that too.
Also mentioned something that has happened to me, that people don't trust me. They think I'm an idiot practically,
Oh, yeah.
and that it bothers me, but what can you do? I'm not gonna change
You're
everybody who thinks
and
I'm an
you're
idiot.
you're still an intelligent person. That's the thing.
Thank you.
As I said to somebody in a group meeting, I forget who it was, but I said to him, "You're still a very bright person." I said, "The problem is, and this is true of you." And when I talked to my friend who's a doctor with brain injury, actually I have a couple of those. I said to him, "They're still intelligent." And so what happens is your entire sense of self, your self-esteem, your confidence, everything is shattered. And because many people can't go back to work or can only work part-time or even as PRN or nothing. And so the sense of who I am is gone. And so they have no confidence in it. And that's really a hard thing to fight too, is that loss of confidence. Um,
Very well said, very well said. Thank you, Mark.
and it's important to know that you're still not only worth something, you're worth a lot to a lot of people, but it's hard to reestablish that.
Well, it's my pleasure to try to help others.
And so
It's
what
what,
you're doing is very helpful, you know.
but, I don't, you might be able to tell by my mobile phone, but I don't have a smartphone or anything. I use my
That's okay.
computer and my mobile phone, and that's how I've decided to make my life
Yeah.
work, it's just easier for me, so.
And one of the big keys, and if you're willing to hang tight for a minute or two after we're done with this, I want to,
Sure.
if you're willing to do another short like video with me, I want to talk about finding purpose.
Okay.
Okay, because
Yeah,
that I think is meaningful too. And
okay.
about finding purpose, and it's like that's hard, but if you just would hang tight after we're done with our because that'll be just a couple minutes. I'll call you after we're done here.
Okay.
But yeah, so I think as far as this video is concerned, it's like I want to try to encourage people to exercise and, like be physically
Active,
active
yeah.
as much as they can be. You don't have to go out and run a marathon like Julie did. You don't have to swim laps. You don't have to do like what I did. If you have been watching Debbie, you see, that she swims and she's quite the fish, but she's been doing it for 40 years. You don't have to be, I mean, she got her brain injury when she was 17. You don't have to be a Debbie. You don't have to be a Julie, you know, just move just as much as you can, whether it's doing some of the stretches that Julie showed you here and we talked about. Um, you just have to move. Um, get some fresh air helps. Um, arm
Makes a big
stretches, neck
difference.
rolls. Right. And is there any advice, that you would want to give people?
I would want to give, I'm trying to do, the advice I've given myself and I'll share with the viewers is that try to do something different each day.
Hmm.
If something as silly as use my right hand instead of my left hand when I eat, or something like that, and or call a friend and call a friend that I haven't talked to in a long time. Something that I don't do every day. It's just that's what I've been focused on, and I hope to get back into exercising more. I mean, I walk well, and I'm lucky that I can walk, because of my cardiac arrest. I had to rehab and learn to do it all again, as many who have cardiac. I don't know, Mark knows more than I did, but I did. I had to learn how to walk again and everything. And I thought my sister was my mother. So, you gotta laugh. It was hard. It was hard, but you gotta laugh because Like crying will take you down.
Yeah, no, that's really good advice there. I would think both physically do something you haven't done before, and I also think, yeah, doing something mentally that's new to you. Um, yeah, um,
Thank you.
because we don't, it's like oftentimes we get in a rut, and so like try something different and fun, both cognitively to work on those cognitive skills that you may be struggling with, and also do something physically different. If even some just a change of scenery. If you always go around the block to the left, go to the right instead.
That's what
You
I'm
know,
doing. Another thing, if I may interrupt for a moment, is like color. And they have adult coloring books, and I don't know, is coloring the lines, but you know what? It's interesting because people color so beautifully sometimes, and sometimes it's not beautiful, but it's still it's creative thing to do. And it's, I mean, I think when somebody said to me, "Why don't you color?" And I think this someone was my son who's 18. He said, I think he likes to color and he's really good with colors and stuff like that type of thing. But so what I do is try to color different than I would color my natural. I don't take my first idea, I go to my third idea or something like that and start with a green crayon instead of a blue, or something like something. It sounds silly, but that's what I try to do.
no, I would agree with you. I think, um, yeah, it's like doing activities like that is a good creative outlet. It's constructive. It's a way to release stress. And it's yeah, yeah. Um,
Yeah, it's just something I like to do sometimes.
doing puzzles, doing drawing, even and again, so many of us, like it has to look a certain way. No, it doesn't. You can, it's like choose different offbeat colors, even if it's a copy of a great painting. You
Yeah,
know, it can look different.
it's it's fun. It's fun to see something different, like an orange sky,
Yeah,
for example, and green water, and yellow
yeah,
people or something like that. It's just
yeah,
interesting to see.
yeah. No, I absolutely agree with you. And so this is about exercise, not just your body, but your mind as well. And I want
Yeah,
to thank you, Julie,
my pleasure.
for everything. And we'll be doing our next video in a minute or two. I'll call you after we've cut and uploaded this. If you just hang tight where you are, I'll call you.
Okay,
And
I
then,
will.
all right, thanks. And
All right, thanks.
all right, so just wait a second here. And so we will say bye to everybody. And
Hi, everyone.
and hope you found it useful and helpful. Like I said, you'll find this under the underneath Debbie's list of exercises because there are a lot of useful exercises here. And so, um,
Yeah,
okay,
I hope
so
so.
if you have any messages you want to send to Julie, any questions or anything like that, please click like and subscribe. And hope you have a good day.